Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to the SI session. Some of the things that we will be covering today are here on the agenda. So we'll do an icebreaker for the types of chemical reactions. So in my last session, I had some students tell me that they're just a little bit confused about these. So we'll review that first of all, and then we'll do mole conversions with grams, atoms, and all of that with the balanced equation. So how can we incorporate balancing equations into the word problem and then solve the answers? So far, we have been doing just simple mole conversions within the question. So this will be like a step above that. So if you're a little bit confused about that, please stop me on the way, ask as many questions as you want. And then we will be going over limiting reactant and percent yield. So this is something that Dr. Tran went over in her Monday's lecture. So this is probably still like fresh in your mind. So we'll try to practice that. And then for the closing technique, I'll ask you to kind of reflect back on the session and then share your main takeaway from it. We will be going over some like new formulas that you're gonna have to memorize. So that could be it could be that, or we will have like a mini discussion on if you're confused about any of the content. We'll go over it. But before that, does anybody have any questions? You can drop them in the chat. But since this is on turn over to SI session again, we will be communicating only through chat. I don't have like a Google Doc associated with this, so make sure you take notes or even screenshots, but I will have this recording and then I'll send it to you guys since you guys were in the session. Okay, so if you do get any questions, drop them in the chat while I go and move forward. But just a reminder, I'm gonna have another session on next Wednesday and it will be from 2:30 to 4 p.m. just like the regular time. Okay, so this is our icebreaker. Icebreaker is to review the types of chemical reactions. So if you did attend my SI sessions, go back to the notes from chemical reactions. I went over some techniques like A plus B equal AB is like combination. So those kind of notes, look through them, or even your lecture notes, and try to identify these. So there's 5. Try to put the answers, and then I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to do it, and then we will share the answers in the chat and then move forward from there. But let's look at this. So this is our equation. And then even if they give you the balanced equation, I would suggest you to kind of make sure that it is balanced. So let's make sure. So we have 4 iron here, and then we have 2 multiplied by 2, so that would be 4. And then we have 6 here, and then we have 6 here as well. So we can make sure we can kind of say confidently that it is balanced. So now our question is, how many moles of Fe, so I would just circle it, how many moles of Fe are needed for the reaction of, and then we write, and then we kind of underline our given information. So they're saying you have 16 moles of O2. For that, how many iron moles are needed? So I'm gonna let you work on it for like 2-3 minutes, and then we'll go over it. But basically the main hint is you're incorporating the balanced equation. And once you have the final answer, just put that in the chat and then we'll go over it. Also, one kind of thing I wanted to mention, all of these questions that I'm getting are from the practice exam too, but I changed the numbers. So it's not exactly the same, but the questions are the same except for the numbers. So basically you guys have this extra practice to kind of see how you're doing with the material now. And for the midterm review, when we're going to do it, we'll go over the actual problems. So basically, pay really implementing grams, right? So let's go over the question. How many grams of O2 are needed to produce this many moles of Fe2O3 in the above reaction? So they're saying that we are going to go from moles of Fe2O3 to the grams of O2. So let's go over it together. And then the next problem, you guys can work on it on your own kind of. So first we're gonna put what's in the given information, Fe2O3. Now we want to get first rid of this mole of Fe2O3. So on the bottom, can you tell me how many moles of Fe2O3 I have from the balanced equation? Yes, it's going to be 2 moles of Fe2O3. And now I'm converting these moles to O2, right? So how many O2 do I have? 3, yep. So as you can see, first you went from here, moles of Fe2 to moles of O2, right? And then you're gonna go to grams. So now this one has 3 steps. So now we have this, we're gonna put 1 mole of O2. And what am I gonna put on top? So can you tell me that number from your periodic table? So we will be putting the molar mass here, which you will get from your periodic table. So for this, Dr. Tran just put 32.0, but as long as you're using the periodic table that Dr. Tran is giving you, your molar mass is going to be right. So 31.9988 looks fine as well. It's not going to be that big of a problem. Now we have canceled this out. We cancel the moles of O2. In the end, we'll just have grams of O2, which is exactly what we're looking for right from the question. Did anybody find the answer? Of O2, and then you're going to have to incorporate the balanced equation with it. So try to think about it, try to kind of write the steps, and then we'll go over it. And a hint I can give you is you can't go from grams to grams. Basically what the hint is that you're going to have to convert grams to moles, and then you're going to do the mole conversion from the balanced equation, and then convert the moles to grams again. Okay, so let's work on the problem together. But did anybody get to the final answer? If so, please add the answer in the chat. Okay, so we'll go over it. So it says in the given information that, okay, so I have one answer in the chat. Let's see if it matches the answer. I don't have the final answer yet either, so I'll walk you through it as well. So let's add the given information here. So we have 16.1 grams of H2O. First, we'll like to get rid of the grams of H2O, right? So can you tell me how many grams of H2O do I have in 1 mole? So basically, the molar mass of H2O from your periodic table. Does everybody kind of know how to find the molar mass? Can I get like thumbs up or down? That one person. Okay, a few of you, but not, doesn't look like everybody. So let's actually go over it. Let me pull up the periodic table. Okay, so once you have the periodic table, you're gonna want to look at the masses. So for H2O, let's put it here. So you have in H2O, you have two H's and then one O, right? Let's put it this way, actually. H, and O. The mass of H is going to be 1.008 in your periodic table. So we'll put that for both of them. And then for oxygen, it's going to be 15.999. And you add all of this together to try to get the sum of it. So let's put it into the calculator. Okay, so I got 18.015. That's going to be your molar mass. And then for molar mass, you always want to put it into this unit. Okay, does that kind of make sense? I would like to see thumbs up from everybody if that makes sense. Yes, okay. So if it was a little bit confusing before, now you'll probably get. So for this, you're gonna have to do this for all of the problems because Dr. Trent is probably not gonna give you the molar masses. And now this is the molar mass we're gonna put here. So, oops. 18.015 grams. Okay, now we want to use the balanced equation. So can you tell me how many moles of H2O do I have in the balanced equation? So basically look in this balanced equation right here. What's the kind of like the coefficient in front of H2O? Yep, that would be 2. So I'm gonna put, oops, I'm gonna put 2 moles of H2O. And now we want our final answer to be an O2, right? So on the top, we are gonna put O2. And then for O2, how many moles are there? One. Yeah, so there's nothing in front of the O2, so it's just 1. And now they want the answer in grams of O2, right? So we're gonna have to find the molar mass of O2. And since we have O here, you won't even have to look at your periodic table. So they're saying we want O2. So we have 1 oxygen is 15.999. So what would be O2? Yes, it will be 31.998 grams of C3H8. You want to get rid of the grams. So the mass, let me put it here. The molar mass for C3H8 is 44.11 grams. Okay, so can you tell me where will I put this molar mass? On the top or the bottom? On the bottom, yes. Because we want to get rid of these grams. And on the top, what will I put? How many moles of C3H8? 1. Good job. Okay. Now we want to get rid of the moles of C3H8 and then find the conversion for H2O. So on the bottom, how many moles of C3H8 am I going to put from the balanced equation? So find C3H8 and tell me what the coefficient is. 1. Good job. Okay, now we want to find the equivalent for H2O. So how many moles of H2O do I have? So find H2O from here and tell me the coefficient. Yes, it is going to be 4. Now they want the answer in grams, right? So we are going to put 1 mole of H2O. Does anybody know the molar mass for H2O? We found it in the last equation as well. Yes, you are right. Okay, now we're going to cancel things out. So grams of CH3 canceled out. Moles of C3H8 canceled out. Moles of H2O canceled out. And then in the end, we have only grams of H2O. So everybody put this equation in your calculator and then put the answer in the chat. And I want every single one of you to put the answer in the chat. And then we'll close the session and I'll take questions from you guys. And put it in the correct sig figs as well. Okay, so we have one answer. Let's hear from others. Okay, so it is in fact 41.5. This will be a final answer. So this was our session today. It's okay we weren't able to go into limiting reactant and percent yield. We'll do it next time. But I like that we went in detail for these 3 questions and also the icebreaker, where we reflected back on like what we have been covering to kind of test our knowledge. But for the closing, I need every single one of you to kind of put in the chat what is your main takeaway from the session, and also with the main takeaway, what is something that you're still kind of iffy on, so that I can kind of stress it more in my Wednesday session or in my coming sessions. And I would like everybody to kind of put this in the chat, um for me to see if you're actually, participating in the session. And if you put the answer in the chat for this one, I will give you this whole worksheet. I'll send it to you in your email and send you the recording. But if you don't put the answer in the chat, I won't be doing that. But you have your time, take your time. But I will stop the recording from here.